Good morning, Ian Crouch with your 8:30 Hunter News update. The state government's decision not to provide rate relief to the New Lambton landslip victims is being criticised by Newcastle Council. The request of relief was intended to cover annual council rates for a 12-month period from July 1st last year for the 16 landslip impacted property owners. Instead, Council will now have to use more than $45,000 of ratepayer funds to alleviate costs for the victims. Councillor Siobhan Isherwood says Council pledged support is a matter of fairness for those impacted.
If you can't return home, you should not have to be paying rates over that period when you have so much uncertainty. You can't get back into your house. You're not even sure what's going to happen with your house in the future. That is a basic test of fairness.
Port Stephens Police is still trying to determine the source of a tonne of allegedly stolen copper wire found in a vehicle at Tomago. Police were called to an address in School Drive on Monday afternoon following reports of suspicious activity. They found a woman standing near a vehicle which they searched, allegedly making the huge find, along with a pair of bolt cutters and a credit card not belonging to the woman. She was arrested and taken to Raymond Terrace Police Station, where she was charged with having goods in custody suspected of being stolen. The woman's been granted conditional bail to face court next Monday. Local businesses are urging Origin Energy to keep Myuna Colliery open, with more than 1,000 jobs at risk. The coal mine directly employs 300 workers, but the potential economic impacts of its potential closure next month could see many more lost. Underground Trade Services CEO Stuart Woolnough says his company and staff directly rely on the mine's operation.
What we do is high risk, and we can't afford to have guys distracted at work. That's the biggest issue. But also we're in the position where we're growing and we're having an intake, and we find that people aren't committing to the industry now because they see instability, which is really hard to manage.
It seems Novocastrians are supporting former Lord Mayor Ross Kerridge's call for council to get back to basics. Dr Kerridge was elected on a platform of grassroots infrastructure needs and community engagement, saying council didn't need to be chasing after big, shiny projects. The Herald chatted to 8 locals who agreed with Dr Kerridge's view, some going a step further, saying councillors shouldn't be using their election as a stepping stone into state parliament. Council says the date for the Lord Mayoral by-election should be known sometime next week. Hundreds of pro-Palestinian protesters were joined by local councillors on Monday. The movement at Civic Park criticised the Albanese government's welcoming of Israeli President Isaac Herzog. Newcastle Greens councillor Joel Pringle says Novocastrians are equally concerned about what happened to the Jewish community at Bondi and the treatment of Palestinians.
Our hearts really go out to the victims in Bondi. No person deserves to experience such atrocities, and that's equally shared. People of Newcastle stand up when they feel outraged by the atrocities committed by an ally of Australia, in this case Israel, and what's been done against the Palestinians.
And trains are running again between Tullara and Maitland following signal repairs in the wake of a vandalism attack at Tullara. Meanwhile, buses are continuing to replace trains between Maitland and Scone due to ongoing track work, which is due to wrap up at 6:30 tomorrow morning.
(2NURFM) Sport.
Jets wingers Eli Adams and Clayton Taylor have taken out honours in the A-League this week. Adams took home Player of the Month, while Taylor made the Team of the Week after his hat-trick. Captain Max Burgess says it's just the tip of the iceberg.
Ultimately in sport, that's probably the most important thing is the desire and willingness to get better and learn. And I think that's what we've got in abundance in this group is just a collective attitude to get better.
Knights fans will have their first look at Newcastle's halves pairing this Saturday. Sandon Smith will join Dylan Brown to take on the Bulldogs at home. Dom Young will play his first pre-season with the club in 2 years after playing 31 games for the Roosters. And the Newcastle T20 Summer Bash will hold their final season match this afternoon. The Waratahs will take on Maitland Flood for the Wooden Spoon at No. 1 Sports Ground. And the winning numbers in Oz Lotto are 4, 20, 23, 26, 27, 31 and 44, and the supplementaries are 2, 24 and 35. And now you're up to date with the latest 2NURFM Hunter News.